Six Paths Technique. Those who possess the Rinnegan gain access to the Six Paths of Reincarnation, ultimate techniques created by the Sage of Six Paths, granting them power far beyond normal limits, almost reaching a godlike level. The Six Paths technique includes many abilities, each surpassing human limits. One of the most prominent techniques is the Deva Path, which allows the user to control attraction and repulsion forces on objects and people. The Deva Path is not only powerful in terms of physical strength, but also terrifying in its ability to manipulate the environment around the user. Specifically, the Deva Path can create strong gravitational forces, pulling objects or people toward the user, or pushing them away with immense force. However, these techniques cannot be used continuously without a cooldown period. The repulsive force is called Shinra Tensei, while the attractive force is known as Bansho Tenin. Additionally, the Deva Path possesses another extremely dangerous and powerful technique called Chibaku Tensei. With this technique, the user can create a black sphere that attracts all surrounding matter, gathering it into a massive mass of rock and earth, resembling a newly formed small planet from the surrounding environment. This technique not only has destructive power, but also dramatically alters the surrounding landscape. We've seen Pain use Chibaku Tensei to try and trap Naruto. Sasuke also used this technique to imprison the nine-tailed beasts, and even used it against Momoshiki. Even Hagoromo Otsutsuki used it to seal the Ten Tails. In this case, the technique created a massive celestial body from the earth, which became the moon we see in the Naruto world. The Deva Path is truly a form of destructive power, showcasing absolute control over everything within its range of influence. The Asura Path allows the user to transform their body into a machine equipped with powerful mechanical weapons and devastating ammunition. When using the Asura Path, those with the Rinnegan can enhance their bodies by creating new mechanical parts, such as extra arms, a new face, and special weapons for attacking or defending themselves. The human path allows the user to read the thoughts of anyone by placing their hand on the target's head or chest, then extracting their soul. This technique is extremely useful for gathering information, especially secrets the target doesn't want to reveal, and the process ultimately kills the target. However, in combat, the human path is not as powerful compared to the other paths. The animal path in the Six Paths is a technique that allows the Rinnegan user to summon various animals and creatures to assist in battle. These creatures seem to be immortal, as they can be killed and then summoned again. What makes the animal path unique is the ease and speed of summoning, requiring no blood or hand signs, unlike traditional summoning techniques. The main role of the animal path in combat is to overwhelm the enemy with a barrage of summoned creatures, attacking from multiple directions and leaving the opponent with little time to react. We've seen Nagato summoned like an entire zoo during a battle. These summoned creatures have chakra receivers attached to their bodies, allowing them to connect directly with Nagato and essentially act as extensions of himself in combat. Although they are merely summoned beasts, possessing the Rinnegan makes them powerful and terrifying tools in battle. The Preta Path is another powerful technique within the Six Paths, allowing the user to absorb chakra in any form. This technique is mainly defensive, as it can absorb chakra from any target through direct contact. Specifically, the Preta Path can absorb pure chakra ninjutsu or chakra-based techniques, rendering those techniques completely ineffective. During the Fourth Great Ninja War, Nagato used the Preta Path to absorb chakra from Killer Bee while he was in version 2. After absorbing this chakra, Nagato used the energy to restore his body to a state before it had been weakened by the demonic statue of the Outer Path. Specifically, Killer Bee's chakra helped Nagato restore his hair color from white to red, rejuvenate his youthful appearance, and heal his leg injuries. In fact, Madara also used this path to absorb Hashirama's Sage Mode chakra during the Fourth Ninja War. The Naraka path grants its user two main abilities, interrogation and restoration, The interrogation ability relies heavily on the use of the King of Hell, a massive head that emerges from the ground, surrounded by purple flames. The King of Hell not only possesses the Rinnegan, but also shares vision with Nagato's other summoned creatures. During interrogation, the Naraka path only needs to touch the target, causing the King of Hell to appear before them. The victim becomes completely paralyzed, and the interrogation begins. Once the target responds, the King of Hell opens its mouth, revealing tentacle-like arms that extract the victim's soul in the form of an enlarged tongue. The King of Hell then judges the victim. If they lie or refuse to answer, it pulls out their tongue and swallows it, killing them. However, if the victim tells the truth, they are spared but left feeling extremely exhausted. The second ability of the Naraka path is to restore any damage inflicted on a body. To do this, the Naraka path uses the King of Hell to consume the damaged body with its tentacles. After some time, the destroyed body is fully restored and expelled from the King of Hell's mouth, completely healed. Now, we just want to take a moment to sincerely thank all of our viewers for supporting our channel. And we want you to know that we always read all of your comments and truly appreciate your suggestions and feedback. We are aiming to reach 10,000 subscribers, and we really need your help. Please support us by hitting the subscribe button, liking, and sharing our videos. Your support is our biggest motivation to keep growing and bringing you more exciting content. Alright, next outer path. Although it's called the Six Paths of Reincarnation, the Six Paths technique actually has 7 abilities, with the final one being the outer path. This ability allows the user to control life and death, opening a realm of power that few can even imagine. Those who possess the Rinnegan are said to exist beyond the boundaries of life and death, capable of resurrecting the dead using Shinra Tensei. When this technique is activated, the King of Hell emerges from the ground and releases the souls of the deceased from its mouth. These souls can be called back from the brink of death and return to fully restored bodies. The exact limits of this technique are unknown, but Nagato used it to resurrect a large number of people who had recently died. This is clearly an extraordinary power, but it comes at an extremely high cost. Nagato was severely weakened, his hair turned white, and his body became frail from the immense strain. Ultimately, after completing the technique, Nagato could not escape death himself. This technique not only has the power to resurrect the dead, but can also transform the bodies of those revived by summoning impure world reincarnation into real, living flesh. Yes, Obito used this jutsu to bring Madara back to life. However, in this case, while Madara's body returned to being fully alive, his eyes turned to dust immediately upon resurrection. Because of this, Madara had to seek out the Rinnegan eyes he had previously given to someone else. Interestingly, Obito didn't summon the King of Hell during this process, suggesting there are different factors involved in the resurrection method. It seems that after being resurrected with Shinra Tensei, people return with fully restored chakra levels, if not at their peak strength. For example, Kakashi didn't need to recover in the hospital after being resurrected, and could even carry Naruto when he was nearly unconscious after the battle with Pain. Similarly, Madara, who had died as an old man, was resurrected into the body he had during his prime strength. This clearly highlights the immense danger and incredible power of this technique. Additionally, the outer path allows the creation of black receivers. The user can channel their chakra into these rods and use them to bind anyone they touch. This level of binding is so strong that it can immediately subdue the target, putting them completely under the user's control. When Hashirama and Tobirama were impaled with these black rods, they were instantly immobilized, literally left lying on the ground, able to move only their lips. Rinnegan users can also summon and utilize the demonic statue of the outer path, Gedo-Mazo, for combat, or to seal the tailed beasts. We have seen multiple instances where those who possess the Rinnegan use its chakra chains to bind opponents with immense restraining power. One of the notable abilities of the Outer Path is the ability to control corpses, or those who have been resurrected by implanting black receivers into their bodies. By doing this, the user can control these bodies from a distance, turning them into pawns on the battlefield. These bodies, like the King of Hell and the summoned creatures through the Animal Path, bear the mark of the Rinnegan in their eyes and can share visual information with the user through the Outer Path. Nagato relied on this ability to create the Six Paths of Pain. Now, I know many of you might be confused at this point, so let me explain. In theory, anyone with the Rinnegan should be able to use the Six Paths techniques. I want to emphasize in theory. We've seen Nagato use these abilities himself with his own body after being resurrected by Edo Tensei during the Fourth Great Ninja War. However, when he was alive, his legs were destroyed after his battle with Hanzo, so he didn't fight directly, but instead controlled the 6 bodies of the deceased to fight on his behalf. These bodies used the Six Paths techniques, while controlling them was the power of the Outer Path. Similarly, Obito Uchiha used the Outer Path to control 6 bodies, but in his case, he used the Jinchuriki of the tailed beasts as puppets. Each of these Jinchuriki possessed the power of their respective tailed beasts, including the ability to use their chakra and special techniques. During the Fourth Great Ninja War, Hagoromo Otsutsuki demonstrated the power of the Outer Path by summoning the souls of deceased Kage from the Pure Land to help him summon Team 7 and the tailed beasts to fight against Kaguya Otsutsuki. When summoned in this way, the deceased did not have a physical body, but instead appeared as a flickering mass of chakra, yet they retained their personalities and memories. This shows that the Outer Path can access and communicate with the souls of the dead, not only bringing them back, but also preserving their essence in this world. However, as soon as the user ends the technique, the souls of these people gradually fade away and completely disappear. Hagoromo also demonstrated the ability to cancel the impure world reincarnation technique, freeing the souls that had been revived from their bodies and returning them to the Pure Land, showing the extent and terrifying nature of the power that the Outer Path holds. Now, do you see how powerful it is? The Outer Path truly stands outside the cycle of reincarnation, able to control life and death, revive the souls of the deceased, and even control the tailed beasts. Limbo, Border Jail. This is a power that only Madara can use. When using a Rinnegan, Madara can create a shadow of himself in Limbo, an invisible world that exists parallel to the physical world, but cannot be seen or sensed through normal means. When he possesses both Rinnegan, the number of shadows he can create increases to 4. Each of these shadows has all of Madara's abilities, with the terrifying advantage that they are completely invisible and cannot be detected by conventional methods. This makes Madara incredibly difficult to deal with, as these shadows can attack targets and even protect Madara from any threats, creating an invisible wall around him. This makes Madara nearly invulnerable when using this technique. However, despite the undeniable power of the shadows, Madara must still adhere to certain rules. After a certain period, each shadow must return to Madara's body, and he must wait for a period of time before he can recreate his shadows. This creates some small weaknesses, as when there are no shadows to support him, Madara loses part of his combat advantage. Although invisible to most opponents, those who possess the Six Paths chakra, such as Sasuke and Naruto at the time, can counter it. Sasuke, with his Rinnegan abilities, can see the shadows, while Naruto, thanks to his Six Paths Sage mode, can sense their presence. Amenotejikara. This is a special ability of the Rinnegan that can only be used by Sasuke Uchiha. Essentially, it is a space-time technique. Sasuke, using his left eye, has the ability to swap himself with objects or people in different locations, effectively switching places with whatever is occupying the targeted space. This power allows him to dodge attacks instantly during battles by shifting to another spot. He can also swap places with objects, like his sword, to set traps for enemies. On one occasion, He used this technique to teleport Madara between himself and Naruto in an effort to seal him as the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki. Additionally, Sasuke can use this ability to free himself from restraints, bind an opponent in his place, or remove foreign weapons from his body. Interestingly, even though this technique is linked to his Rinnegan, Sasuke doesn't need to directly see the object he is swapping places with. Sasuke can also use this technique to shift other objects or people within his surroundings. This allows him to summon a weapon directly into his hand or send an attack, like the Chidori, to a distant location. By timing his attack perfectly and pulling his opponent toward him at the last second, Sasuke can ensure his moves hit their target. However, the opponent needs to be within a certain range for this to work, and if they are fast enough, they can escape before the technique activates. Additionally, while channeling the chakra of the nine-tailed beasts into his Susanoo, Sasuke was able to teleport both himself and his Susanoo to a position behind Naruto, even though Naruto was far away. When Sasuke first acquired his Rinnegan, he had to wait for his eye to recharge after using the technique multiple times in a short period. Overusing it could even cause his eye to bleed. In his later years, Sasuke can still use this technique even when his Rinnegan's power is weakened from using its other abilities. Yomotsu Hirasaka. Urashiki Otsutsuki possesses two different Rinnegan, each with unique abilities. With his red Tomoe Rinnegan, he can use Yomotsu Hirasaka to travel through dimensions. Yomotsu Hirasaka is a Kekkei Mora-level technique, considered the origin of all space-time ninjutsu. Specifically, the user can create rifts in space, allowing them to instantly move to another location. These portals can either connect two different places within the same dimension or create a passage between two separate dimensions. It's an incredibly versatile technique. In fact, besides Urashiki, we've also seen another character in Naruto use this technique, Kaguya. Kaguya Otsutsuki doesn't have the Rinnegan in the usual way like other characters in Naruto. Instead, she possesses the Rin Sharingan, a combination of the Rinnegan and Sharingan. In the final battle with Team 7, she created numerous spatial rifts to teleport wherever she wanted, allowing her to retreat quickly and making it extremely difficult for Team 7 to track and attack her. With this technique, Kaguya could strike Team 7 from multiple directions, launching unpredictable and surprising attacks. She also moved between different dimensions, forcing Team 7 to constantly adapt to changing battle environments, which greatly hindered their ability to fight effectively. These portals weren't just for transporting her entire body. She could also send only parts of her body through them, allowing her to grab opponents and drag them into a portal, transporting them to another location. Kaguya used this to scatter Team 7 across different locations, disrupting their coordination and strategies. Luckily, Obito's Kamui was able to counter Kaguya's Yomotsu Hirasaka, giving him access to her 6 dimensions. Origami Replacement Technique. This is also one of Urashiki's special abilities. Before being attacked, Urashiki activates his Tomoe-less Rinnegan, causing it to glow blue. His body then vanishes without any warning, leaving behind 10 glowing red paper cranes that slowly fall to the ground before disappearing completely. After using this technique, Urashiki's chakra signature becomes completely undetectable, allowing him to escape unnoticed. It sounds somewhat similar to the body replacement technique, doesn't it? But instead of replacing himself with a log or another object, Urashiki leaves behind glowing paper cranes. This technique is incredibly useful and versatile, enabling him to dodge attacks, hide, and escape with great flexibility. Tengai Shinsei. This technique was showcased by Madara during the 4th Great Ninja War, when he was resurrected using Edo Tensei. It is a combination of the powers of Susanoo and the Rinnegan. At that time, he used 3 seals simultaneously between himself and Susanoo to summon a massive meteor from the upper atmosphere, aimed directly at the battlefield. When the first meteor was intercepted, he summoned a second one to crash into the first, ensuring both meteors would still collide with the target. The destruction caused by this technique was immense, completely obliterating a large part of the 4th Division, with the shockwave from the impact reaching from the borders of the Land of Lightning to the Allied Shinobi Forces headquarters. Its power was so overwhelming that it could completely destroy Madara's Susanoo and even his body. Of course, since he was not yet fully resurrected with a normal human body, but only a reanimated corpse, he could not be killed. This technique is a testament to the devastating power of its user, instilling fear and awe with its sheer scale and magnitude, a force capable of changing the course of a battlefield in an instant. In addition to all its other abilities, the Rinnegan has the power to see the flow of chakra within another person's body, somewhat similar to the Byakugan. This ability isn't showcased much in the series, but we did see Madara observe the chakra flow in Might Guy when he opened all the 8 gates to attack. Moreover, the Rinnegan can see through walls or invisible barriers. For instance, Pain was able to detect the sensory barrier around the Hidden Leaf Village before attacking, although that barrier didn't pose any real challenge for him. Additionally, possessing the Rinnegan allows the user to master any ninjutsu easily and wield all 5 basic nature transformations. It is also the only dojutsu capable of fully deciphering the Sage of Six Paths Stone Tablet. Alright, that's all for this episode. If you want me to make a video about any other topic or a specific character, just leave a comment below.